this video, I'll prove what a superior person is, why they feel the need to change my voice and my image, and why I'm persecuted. Okay? Because LGBT people and white-skinned people insist on being seen as superior. What I'm talking about is far more important and serious to them than what the Black Panthers were talking about. What they're talking about is like a grain of salt or a grain of sand on the beach compared to what I'm talking about in this video. You listen carefully, you'll understand that real fast. First of all, for them to argue that arguing logical reality is illogical and that there are different perspectives makes them crazy idiots. Okay? Let's talk about why that is. First of all, let's talk about the argument of the bird flying through the air. If somebody was on shrooms and they argued that that bird was not flying through the air because there are different perspectives, okay? And I said, you know what? I've seen it flying through the air. It's on camera. A lot of other people seen it flying through the air. It's actually flying through the air. They would be wrong. I would be right. Especially if they sobered up and then saw it later and said, you know what? You're right. So were there different perspectives or was there one truth? I live in a society, on a planet, where people cannot even concede this publicly without being persecuted, so most people do not concede it publicly. They pretend that there are different perspectives, and that's all there is to it. That there's no such thing as truth, that society should just accept their different perspective argument and not pursue the truth in regards to the point of life, what's going on, what have you. It is fucking pathetic. So imagine if we applied that to cars on the freeway. Someone said, oh, to their children, you know, there's no such thing as cars on the freeway. It's a matter of perspective. Feel free to run on the freeway. Okay? And 2 of their kids got killed. Well, it's a matter, maybe they're just missing. And they play stupid. You see how that perspective argument quickly becomes a disaster. In many ways, it is becoming a disaster. Point number 2. Key in superiority is pinpointed universal moral, mental, spiritual, and romantic precision. Also, moral, mental, spiritual, romantic prowess, intensity, supremacy, and maturity. In a sense, they are all the same thing. The degree in which one has one of these things is the degree in which they have all of these things. Here, I use the example of, in Santa Cruz, they used to have a game you play where you shoot water into a clown's mouth and it makes this balloon fill up and then it pops, and whoever pops first wins the prize. So how precise you are with that beam of water determines how quickly the balloon pops. So it is with moral precision and intensity. How precise you are with morality determines how intense you are. Also how mature you are, okay? And the more morally intense you are, the more romantic you are in reality, the more smart you are in reality, mental power, okay? The more mental prowess you have. Okay, moral, mental, spiritual, and romantic prowess are the same thing for this reason. Love only comes from righteousness and justice. One can think they're in love with a dog while they eat human babies, for no reason. But that's not love, that's a sickness, because it only comes from righteousness and justice. Now consider the spectrum of where they have it wrong. If they cheat me out of my right to lead, and they say, oh, with our blood money we got from the state, trickle down pedo blood money, and they say we have established a marriage, and they like that I'm a software engineer, and da-da-da-da-da, and over time we got to like each other. No, that's not love. It's what people mistake for love. It's a sickness derived from social norm fanaticism, okay, and injustice. That's not true love. Nor does that allow for true mental, moral, spiritual, or romantic prowess. For those of you who don't get it, I suggest you watch it again, this video, up to 4 minutes till you get it, okay? Point number 3, one must conquer the desire to lie about the logical assumption and conclusion, or they never grew up and prove extreme inferiority and insanity as their scale. Okay, if they say, you know what, he's wrong about those points, okay, they're inferior. If they say, the chick who played Clue, some dumb bitch, some dumb cheerleader, shouldn't submit to this guy and become a better person. She should submit to fucking Donald Trump, okay? They're inferior, okay? And they're insane. That guy's a corrupt politician. He's cheating me out of my right to lead. I teach people to truly be human beings and to be great people, okay? He doesn't. If she submits to him, she's going to be horrible. And if one cannot conquer the desire to lie about this, they are inferior to the people that can, and they are insane. They are not sane. That is insane. That is an insane mistake. Think about it. I got to shoot through this. I'm running out of time. So, point 4. To play stupid is to not conquer the desire to play stupid and to be conquered by something stupid. Satanists control all cultures the world allows. Okay, they don't allow for me to say these things, and I'm being persecuted. And are the main example of people that cannot conquer the desire to be pathetic in themselves. For obvious reasons, right? They click their heels, dance around naked around a pentagram. They have satanic sex with kids and all kinds of bitch shit, depending on which movement we're talking about, but all the movements are pathetic. The problem is partially genetic, and after I die, it is all genetic, as they won't be able to live without being evil, right? They'll only have their evil nature. No good person will give them good nurture for them to be good, so the whole world will be damned on an evil planet and then punished in the afterlife, okay? Generational ill-gotten gains will have conquered the world. All people who allow them to lead their cultures or are under them in the cultures they control couldn't conquer that desire as well. I suggest you watch this video several times. 5. To be determined to reinforce a Satanist-run culture is to be determined to not be a man. One need only to be a participant in these cultures to be guilty of this. Think about a skater, for example. Seem like your friendly skater kid in the suburbs, okay? Skater white kid, for example, right? Run-of-the-mill, textbook example, okay? What is he doing? He's elevating a culture of betas instead of being pinpointed and morally precise and manning up. I'm skating, dude. Oh, bro. He's kind of being a sissy instead of being serious with focused moral intensity. That's not being a man. And virtue means man, right? And there's a scale of virtue intensity to truly be a man. They didn't cross the line. They're just a groupie, okay? One must be a man to have the true masculine and true masculine martial art determination. So they're determined to be a groupie under Satanists who are a bunch of bitches, especially the rich ones, okay? And to follow the boundaries and the rules of the sissies that control their cultures and their conceptions of how to be a man. So to be determined to reinforce that, dude, who does that, bro? Okay, is to be determined to be a bitch's bitch. And that's not being a man. If you don't get what I'm saying, watch this video several times. Moving on. Point 6. The obvious principles that make one superior transcend social norms. They are all built on pinpointed universal moral precision. All the principles that make you superior are built on pinpointed universal moral precision. If you don't have pinpointed universal moral precision in terms of the logical assumption, logical conclusion, you couldn't possibly be superior. They are all built, okay, one must live them and not just explore them. These principles include moral might, moral will, pinpointing universal moral precision, focused moral intensity, moral maturity, moral intelligence, moral courage, moral wisdom, moral clarity, and martial arts outdoor point sparring prowess. One must consider tech, breeding, and ill-gotten gains, especially generational ill-gotten gains. So in other words, a bunch of rich white guys, and LGBT guys can't just sabotage the world, sabotage Africa, especially turn their back on the 9 million people starving to death every year, and all the horrible things that are happening, all the drugging and all the stuff that they're causing, and then say, well, look at my offspring, they're superior. Okay, one cannot be established through wickedness. Okay, that's not how you become superior. That is the most inferior path, and it's sabotage. In fact, that's my next point. 7. Unjust sabotage, especially in a calculated manner as groups, makes that person or group inferior. Set in Egyptian mythology is the lowest forms of life because of this, because he believed in doing what I just described, building his family on the sabotage of other families and saying, we're the natural martial art line, and he's a brute force knucklehead idiot. Okay? Point 8. One need only to do the right thing if one is persecuted or their family killed, etc., or their life work seems wasted. The people in the wrong are just damning themselves and their offspring in this way. Okay, are just damning themselves and their offspring. In this way, life is war. To take evil side just makes one self and their offspring pathetic, childish, and evil, and stupid, etc. Shallow and cheesy, and so on and so forth. Point 10. I grew up a brain surgeon's son in a mansion when I was younger. Money means nothing at all. Only beasts chased after it. Okay? So I've had money. Right now, I'm not so rich. I don't wear nice clothes. I wear very simple clothes, a $20 hoodie, sweater. And it's old and faded. I have pants with tears in it because they're keeping me from new clothes, even though I have thousands of dollars in the bank. It's a long story why that is. They're using technology. Going back to how I started this video, what I'm doing to them is more serious than saying, hey, you're not treating black people fairly. I'm saying, hey, this is what is superior. The Black Panthers did not point to the Royal African Falcon top martial artist order and to my line as superior. Okay, they did things in a way that made them seem like second-class white people just demanding to be treated a little better. Okay, it's not the same thing, and they're using more technology to sabotage me than they did to them. And you're a fucking idiot I can't respect for a moment if you don't immediately know that's true. Thank you.